Hi, welcome to Julie's Yard and Garden. Today I'm going to be discussing several different things that you can start your seeds in without having to break the bank. One way that you can make sure that you've got a supply of containers around is to just save some from previous purchases. Some of them are going to be a little bit more sturdy than others, and others are going to be a little bit crinkly. Others might only last a couple of times after you've taken the original plants out of them. Totally up to you if you've got a place that you can store things like that. That's a great way that you can have something to put your new plants in. If you do decide to go ahead and save some containers from previous plant purchases, I would recommend saving the tray that they come in or collecting a few so that you can have something that you can put your containers in and move your plants around as you need to move them. Another thing that you can use are just containers that you have because you have already purchased something for something completely different. Again, this is a sour cream container. I think I've shown you how to make one of those. All I did was poked a bunch of holes in the bottom with a pencil. It was as easy as that. Now I've got something that I can actually plant a plant in after I put some moist soil in it. Another thing that you could do is take an old battered Tupperware. You could probably even just put a hole in the bottom of that with a nail or use a screwdriver, and then you've got something else that you can use for a pot. If you decide not to put a hole in the bottom of a pot like this or even a sour cream container, you just need to make sure that you're careful with how much you water that plant as it's growing. Another great thing that you can use to start your plants in are takeout containers. I would recommend the ones that come with a lid so that when you put the soil in, you automatically have a top that can help create your own little greenhouse effect on the inside. Again, start out with moistened soil and put them in a warm place that will get lots and lots of sunlight. If you don't have any of those options available, you can always make your own pots out of newspaper. Newspaper is actually good to make some pots out of because you can plant them directly into the soil and they will be able to biodegrade as the plant gets larger. This is another thing that would be great to use a flower tray with. So you can put all of your pots together like this. So I'm going to show you really quick how to make a simple pot like that. You can use newspaper. I've used grocery ads for this one. You can use the yellow pages because the paper is the same feel as like a newspaper, so it would be very easily biodegradable in the soil. One thing that's interesting is that lots of newspapers, and I'm sure ads and everything like that, are made with soy-based inks, so you don't have to worry about contaminating the soil and stuff like that with the ink on the pages. The one thing that I would highly recommend is to not use any glossy paper. It has to be newspaper feel. If you've got glossy pages on some kind of an ad, don't use those. They won't work as well. And the ink is not necessarily soy-based. The only things that you'll need to make a pot out of paper is newspaper and a jar. And make sure that the jar is flush all the way down. It's the same size from top to bottom. It makes it a little bit easier to roll. All you do is take the newspaper, and this is just half of one of the sheets. If you want about a 2 or 3 inch pot, you just fold it in half like that, and then you can lay the bottle down on top of it to size it. I would make sure that the newspaper comes just over halfway on the bottom of the bottle to make sure that there aren't any gaps or holes in the bottom for your soil to fall out of. And if you want, you can fold that newspaper one more time and give it a good crease so that it has a little bit of a bottom to begin with. You set your bottle on the newspaper and then you roll it up on itself. And then all you have to do is fold the bottom over. And it doesn't have to be pretty because it's going to be underneath your plant, and then all you do is slide that paper off and you have yourself a pot that you can put some soil into. Again, it's not going to stand up very well until I actually get some soil into it, but that is something that you can use. If you really want to, you could put a piece of tape on the bottom, but the tape is not going to be biodegradable. So if you do use tape, make sure that you take that piece of tape off as you plant in the ground. Another thing that you can do with a paper pot to make sure that it sits flat is after you roll it up, all you have to do is go back through and crease the bottom like this. And then it should sit a little bit more flat for you. Then all you have to do is moisten your soil. If you're working outside, please use something plastic that won't shatter. Just give it a good stir. All you have to do is take your pot, put your soil inside, pat it just a little bit, and you are ready to get planting. I hope you've learned a few different things that you can use, that maybe you've already got around the house, that you can start your seeds in so that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Until next time, grow something you love and just have fun with it.